bow your heads and let us pray. Dear Jesus, please show me how to spend this day sharing your love in every way. Help me to be kind to everyone, to play and laugh and have lots of fun, shining your light and giving your grace, sharing your joy with a smile on my face. Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love commits me here. Ever this day be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen. Hiraya!
So, hello everyone, good day. I am James Timbre Bilang together with my group mates, and today we will be discussing about studies in language and society. In this lesson, we will be discussing about different uses of language, particularly our affectives or our emotions when it comes to accents, switching from one language to another, the birth of Pidgin and its connection to Creole, and lastly, being able to pull out particularly to speak three languages or more at a time, or being multilingual or multilingualism. But before we start into it, so let's look out to our learning objectives. So first, understand and analyze attitudes towards accent variation. Second, explain the concept of code switching and its role in multilingual communities. Third, define and differentiate between Pidgins and Creoles. And lastly, discuss the benefits and challenges of multilingualism in the society. So, for our first game, we will be playing the photograph game. In this game, the students will guess and connect two pictures or image that will form a word. This will take 5 seconds each item number. So, for example, the two pictures seen on the screen are goat and the word owl. You need to mix and add the two words to form a single word. Good luck, players! Do you got the right answer? Yes, it is language. Do you got the right answer? Yes, it is language. Yes, it's society. Ooh, looks hard to guess. Yes, it is code switching. How about this one? Yes, it's Pidgin. Lastly, can you guess this one? Yes, it's multilingualism. Our game looks fun. Do you enjoyed it? Of course, we bring the best game just for you. And now, we will be playing another game, and it's called Minute to Win It. Good luck! Words, phrases, and characteristics must be putted and grouped in its designated place. There will be a text box provided. You will be given You will be given 2 minutes to complete the task. Good luck, players! Have you got right answers? Come on, share it with us through passing your paper in the Google Drive provided. Thank you! And now, we will be discussing about studies in language and society. Language and society are intertwined and are literally interconnected. Language was created and developed by society. Society uses language to, to meet needs and necessities using communication. So these two things are hard to separate actually, because if there is no language, there will be no society and vice versa. What is accent? According to sociologists, an accent refers to a manner of pronunciation peculiar to a particular individual, location, or nation. Accent specifically relate to how words are being pronounced. On the other hand, a dialect is described as a regional or social variety of a language, distinguished by pronunciation, grammar, or vocabulary. This means dialects are most closely related to the overall concepts of a language than accents are. To avoid the complexities associated with these terms, many modern linguists now use the word variety. This term captures different ways a language can vary and is used to categorize linguistic variations more accurately. So accent was made up of different reasons to consider. There could be on the rules on how to pronounce in words, and it includes tone, pitch, even speaking styles, or even syllables. So in every location, we can have the same accent, or in some there will be not, or they may be different. So it actually varies. Due to thousands of languages, approximately 7,000 languages that exist around the globe, it is very evident that variations of accents exist. For example, for the global language of English, there is some to mention, including the British English, Canadian English, Australian English, and American English. Although fortifying some words and some vocabularies, pronunciation would be seen very different. So take a look with this woman and notice something.
This woman has an amazing talent where she can talk in any accent almost perfectly, and it sounds incredible. Check it out.
American.
Oh my god, I'm like so excited to be back. You have no
Greek.
idea. I am very happy because I will see all of my
Australian.
friends. And I'm like literally so excited. But like the hardest part about being over
French.
here, it is like can be a little bit distracting because there's music
Russian.
right now. And honestly, like when I see people, I'm like, stop bothering
Spanish.
me because really my social battery it runs out of time very, very
Macedonian.
quickly. But honestly, because it's very close to home, I am really not like
British.
picky about anything. But I think I'll manage. And quite frankly,
Serbian.
I think that I just love it here. When I'm in Belgrade, I actually think
Indian.
that is like a little bit hectic, because like all of these people, all of these different personalities.
Turkish.
I like it ya. Yani çok nice geliyor. To
Italian.
me. And honestly, I am very excited about all of this. And thank you for watching.
Different speaking styles and accents were derived from the phonetic inventory of local dialects. For example, a Chinese speaker speaks differently when using the English language. She may use the language, but still, you will be able to notice that she is a non-native and are from China. So, what's the main reason for this? It's because of the adaptation of foreign phonetics to the original mother tongue. So, L2 speakers are easily to notice, especially if they still instill speaking styles from their mother tongue or from their L1 language. So, to further analyze this thing, we provided examples of such wherein English words have different pronunciation varying from British English, Australian English, and American English. So, I'm not an expert, but I will do my best to, to show to you the difference of these examples. So for the word car, in British, we could pronounce it as ka. In American, car. In Australian, car. Second on the list is the word bear. So in British, we could pronounce it as bear, while in American, bear, and in Australian, bear. For the word start, in British, we could pronounce it as start. In American, start. While in Australian, start. And lastly, in the city in the United States of America, New York, in which we could pronounce it in British as New York, while in American, New York, while in Australian, New York. So after having the examples, we will now be moving to the negative attitudes on accent. So first, hiring managers are less likely to offer you an interview. Second, employers will likely perceive you as less competent as them. Landlords are less likely to rent you an apartment. And in court, your testimony is perceived as less plausible and is likely to be transcribed accurately. And lastly, you are likely to get labeled with a learning disability and stream into a special education. Expectations comes with our attitudes and experiences. This causes stigma that we carry. For example, if you see a Chinese face, you will expect a Chinese accent, leading to negative consequence for speakers. So if we will be looking into the negative flow on attitudes to accent, perception create attitudes and experience, leading to stigma. Second, if we will looking into the positive view, experience creates familiarity and comprehension. Comprehension plays a vital role or an important role to receive and feedback of one's message. And if used incorrectly, that could lead to a problem. That is why we should adapt perceptual adaptation, or a term refers to the more people listen to an unfamiliar talker, the more they perceive and understood what the talker said. Even the language used were not complete or easily to understand. For example, the Chinese people in Binondo, Manila. Even though they still adapt their L1 accent, we're still able to understand them. Why? Because we perceive and comprehend them because of the long duration of time wherein we use to their to their speaking style of Filipino. For example, bili ka na, tinda ko, mura. Ayan. So, another example would be from foreign visitors here in the country. They would say, magandang umaga, where is dagat? See, they still have their foreign accent, but we're still able to accompany and we're still able to be, hospitable. The best way to understand someone is to listen. Thank you.
What is code switching? The term code switching was originally documented as a linguistic phenomenon. Social linguistics, including John J. Gompers, were interested in the circumstances that made dual language. Speakers switch back, forth, and forth between their native language and the one spoken by the majority. However, code switching was quickly noted even in a population that spoke only one language. The term grew to encompass a set of behaviors beyond multilingualism. This could be changing our mannerism, our tone of voice, or linguistic code, switching between standard English and more relaxed vernacular. Examples of code switching: a Latina woman is called in for a job interview. She chose an outfit and does his hair, but decides not to get her nails done before the interview. Even though she takes a lot of pride in her appearance, she doesn't want to seem trashy or ghetto by painting her long nails. Example number 2. A white man from the Midwest decides to go by his middle name instead of his full name. When he moved to the East Coast, he considered his full name will make him sound good, like a redneck. Example number 3. A black man works in a high-end clothing store. Known for his loud voice and personality, he plays infinite mannerism so he doesn't rip off the stores. Most likely, white clientele. Why do people code switch? As we delve into the reasons why people code switch, it's important to note that not all of these are conscious or bad. The extent to which we feel we have to change who we are affects how we're impacted by it. Let's take a look at the reasons below. Example number 1, fear of confirming stereotypes. The most common conscious reason for code switching is to avoid violating negative stereotypes about your groups or calling unwanted attention to yourself. Unfortunately, this is almost the beginning. It's this kind of code switching that leaves people feeling they are not acceptable the way they are. The damage comes just from the shift in behavior and more from the pressure to maintain the on-talk. Example number 2, to achieve a specific result. Another common reason for code switching is to get something that you feel isn't available. If you don't successfully ingratiate yourself with a dominant social group, much like in high school, we try to strike the right balance of fitting in and standing out to move ahead for people from underrepresented backgrounds. However, this can feel trying to erase their cultural identity, or like my friends in the example above, they may word that calling their attention to their identity will put them at a disadvantage. Example number 3, because they can't help it. As we mentioned, not all types of code switching are intentional. Sometimes we are around people from different parts of our lives, we shift into that way of being. This kind of code switching can actually be a positive experience. For example, I spent every summer in Georgia when I was growing up with my husband. Often teases me about my sometimes southern accent. Explanation number 4, it expresses something that can't be said another way. Certain language and culture subwords or shared experience that don't translate well into the English language. When this happens, a person might feel like shifting back towards that language or identity. It's the best way to express how they feel. This also results in code mixing, which is when people mix elements of two different language or cultures.
Hi guys, since we are already done about code switching, let's now proceed to pidgin. I know all of us have an idea what is pidgin because we already discussed it when we are in our first semester in Percom. So I have a question. What is Fiji? Anyone? Thank you. Yes, that's right. Fijian is a combination of two or more different languages. Fijian is used with two or more people with different language so that they can understand each other. Fijian, also referred to us as contact language or contact vernacular. It is also called trade language. Fijians generally develop in the situation of trade, colonization, and other environment activities in which two different languages need to communicate effectively. Let's proceed to the characteristic of Fijian. It's that Fijians have only limited vocabulary. Do you think Fijians have only limited vocabulary? Yes, that's right. Fijian only have limited vocabulary because it is not an official language of one country. It is just a combination of two different countries so that they can communicate effectively. The next one is Fijian use many onomatopoeias, or the words that sound the thing they are referring to. For example is slap, swoosh, sizzling, and many more. The next one is consonant cluster get often simplified. For example is pronunciation of best player. Instead of pronouncing it as best player with a T sound, they pronounce it as best player. The T sound in the end drop. The next one is it's not typically a native language but a second language. Like what I said, Fijians only produce with a combination of two different languages. So, Fijian is not a native language, but it can be a a second language. It has simplified sentence and phrase structures because they only use Fijian to understand each other. There are many Fijians in the world today. In Asia, most countries have or had some Pidgin of English. In Japan, they have this called Japanese Bamboo English. Time, many Pidgins mature into become what we call Creoles. Later on, Miss Bianca will discuss to you what Creole is, and you will be able to differentiate what is the difference between the Creoles and the Pidgin. And that's all for the Pidgin. Thank you.
What is Creole? A Creole language is a stable, fully developed, natural language that typically arises from the blending of two or more parent language, which means Creole language often emerge in situations where speakers of different native language need to communicate, such as in colonial settings or trade ports. They start as pidgins, simplified language with limited vocabulary and grammar used for specific communication needs. Over time, these pidgins can become fully fledged language with their own grammar and vocabulary spoken natively by a community. So, what is the differences between the two? Just like what I mentioned earlier, a pidgin is a simplified form of language that develops as a means of communication between speakers of different native language. It typically arises in situations where there is a need for a common language, such as trade, colonization, or labor migration. Pidgins have limited vocabulary and simplified grammar, while a Creole develops from a pidgin when it becomes stable and is learned as first language by community of speakers. This process, called nativization, involves the expansion and regularization of the pidgin's grammar and vocabulary, making it fully developed natural language. So, let us now see how a Creole developed from a pidgin. The first step is the contact situation. Pidgin arises in multilingual contact situation where speakers of different native language need a common means of communication, often for trade or colonial administration. The second one is the simplification. The pidgin simplifies the structure and reduces the vocabulary of the contributing language to facilitate basic communication. Third one would be the stabilization. As the pidgin is used more frequently, it becomes more stable and systematic, developing consistent grammatical roots. And the fourth one would be nativization. When the children in a community begin to learn the pidgin as their first language, they add complexity to it. This process, known as creolization, transforms the pidgin into a Creole, a fully developed natural language with native speakers. So, in order for a language to be considered as standard, there are 5 criteria. The first one would be codification, which means that the language must be documented and standardized through dictionaries, grammars, and official rules. This process often involves the selection of a particular dialect or variety as the norm. The second one would be the institutionalization. The standard variety needs institutional support, such as its use in education, government, media, and other official functions. The third one, the variety should be regarded as prestigious and superior by the speech community, often associated with cultural or political power. The fourth one would be the functionality. The standard language must be capable of performing a wide range of functions, including informal.
Multilingualism is the ability to speak, understand, or use multiple languages. It's like having a superpower that allows you to communicate with people from different backgrounds and culture. Speaking multiple languages has amazing benefit. It can boost your brain power, improve your memory, and help you see the world from different perspectives. Plus, it opens up exciting career opportunities and lets you connect with people from around the globe. Becoming a multilingual is a journey that starts with curiosity and practice. Whether you learn in school, travel a new place, or simply study with different language. Key aspect of multilingualism. Language proficiency. At the heart of multilingualism is language proficiency, ranging from basic skills to advanced fluency in multiple language, whether it's daily conversation or complex discussion. Multilingual individuals navigate diverse linguistic language with ease. Language acquisition. Language acquisition plays a pivotal role in multilingualism, from early exposure to formal education and language practice. The journey to mastering multiple language is a dynamic process that enriches communication and cultural understanding. Code switching. A code switching, the art of seamlessly alternating between language, is a common practice among multilingual speakers. It adds depth and nuance to communication, allowing for fluid expression across linguistic boundaries. Cognitive benefits. The cognitive benefits of multilingualism are remarkable: enhanced memory, improved problem-solving skills, and increased cognitive flexibility are just a few of the advantages that multilingual individuals enjoy, showcasing the power of language on the mind. Cultural understanding. Multilingualism fosters cultural understanding promote empathy, respect for diversity, and intercultural communication through language. Individual bridge cultural divides, celebrating the unique heritage and tradition of diverse communities. Professional advantage. Professionally, multilingualism opens doors to global opportunities from international business to diplomacy. Multilingual individuals have a competitive edge, bringing valuable language skills and cultural insight to the global stage. Education impact. In education, multilingualism enrich academic experience, boosts critical thinking skills, and promotes cultural awareness. Students benefit from multicultural lens, expanding their perspective and fostering inclusive learning environments. How are people identified as multilingualism? People are recognized as multilingual when they can speak, understand, or use more than one language. This means they have the skill to communicate in different language. One way to identify multilingual individuals is by observing if they can have a conversation and understanding others in various language. Additional, taking language tests or courses to assess proficiency in multiple language is a common method of identification. Growing up in a multicultural environment or being exposed to a different language from a young age can also indicate someone is multilingual. In professional setting, individuals who work across language or in diverse cultural contexts are often recognized as multilingual based on their linguistic abilities. Here are some common ways. Self-identification. One common way people are identified as multilingual is through self-identification. Individuals who recognize their proficiency in two or more languages and acknowledge their multilingual skill can confidently identify themselves as multilingual. Language proficiency tests. Language proficiency tests such as Common European Framework or Reference for Language (CEFR) or language assessment play a key role in identifying multilingual individuals. Achieving a certain proficiency level in multiple language help determine one's status as multilingual. Language used in daily life. Observing an individual language used in daily life is another way to identify them as multilingual. Regular switching between language, communicating effortlessly in different linguistic contexts, and interacting in multiple languages are clear indicators of multilingual proficiency. Formal language education. Completion of formal language education programs or language courses in multiple languages is a significant factor in identifying individuals as multilingual. Educational records, language certificates, or language qualification can attest to one's proficiency in more than one language. Language background. Individuals with a multicultural or multilingual background, such as those who grew up in multilingual environments, have heritage, language, or were exposed to diverse linguistic influence, are often identified as multilingual due to their rich language repertoire. Professional requirements. In certain professions or job roles, multilingualism is a requirement. Individuals who are recognized for their ability to work in multiple languages and fulfill job responsibilities that involve language skills are identified as multilingual based on their professional requirements. Multilingual settings. participation in multilingual settings, such as international conference, multicultural communities, or diverse language environments is a key identifier of multilingual individuals. Their ability to engage in conversation and activities across language showcase their multilingual proficiency.